Talking about this subject is honestly kinda hard, because sometimes this franchise just makes us go like, or other times like, yes, just freaking go, run! But let's tone it down a notch, and let me ask you a question. What era of Sonic do you love? Personally, this is the Sonic that I love. Yeah, I grew up with the 2000 Sonic where he was filled with personality, attitude, and kindness. He was written like a shonen anime before I even knew what those genres even were. He was a gateway for me and countless other fans into a world of silly concepts turned into fantastical epics. So how do I go about rebooting a series like this? There's adventure fans, boost fans, classic fans. Even with the movie, a whole new generation is going back to discover Sonic games for themselves. I have an entire video on what it is I love about Sonic and why, but honestly, just knowing he's all about speed and doing what's right is a good enough starting point for understanding where I'm coming from here. Now I know Sonic has a long history of continuity into many. The continuity in the character development made these fun platformers something even greater, but now we've lost that continuity. No longer is Shadow the character that we spent 3 whole games developing, nor is Knuckles the stern fighter protecting the Master Emerald. Sonic the Hedgehog needs a soft reboot to change the writing back to character-focused storytelling, a gameplay overhaul combining the best aspects of both the boost and adventure styles of gameplay, and lastly, a more stylized vision of both the Sonic world and its cast of characters. So to begin, we first have to establish the difference between a hard or a soft reboot, in case you aren't sure what the difference is. A hard reboot is what 06 tried to do for the series, where it had all the same characters but none of the backstories from the previous games, essentially wiping the slate clean. However, a soft reboot is something akin to the likes of Resident Evil 4, a game that takes place in the established universe with both new and old characters, but is a self-contained story that can do its own thing and grabs a new audience. And with that new audience, further installments can get them up to speed on past events they might have missed out on. That being said, let's start with how we could begin to go back to the kind of storytelling of the older games. The quintessential Sonic stories, in my eyes, that capture the essence of Sonic are Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic and the Black Knight, and Unleash being a close third. In Sonic games as of late, and by that I mean for a whole decade, oh my goodness, how have they not fixed this? Sonic plots have gone from this...
Merlina. Every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have. At least, that's what I figure.
Grandfather.
to this.
Baldy nose hair! That's the best thing I've heard all day! I gotta remember that one.
The problem is clear to see. The understanding of what makes Sonic who he is and why, what makes all these characters who they are and why, is absent from the writing of these current games. This is not a simple matter of tonal shift. Although I believe the Saturday morning cartoon vibe is lackluster and doesn't fit Sonic at all, I also don't think it's a storytelling killer, but the issue on the table isn't just that it's a tonal shift. The issue is that it is insulting to the characters because they aren't written with the proper personalities. Think about the games with stories that fans love, the 3D ones specifically, of course. Adventures 1 and 2 are way up there, Black Knight has some of the best writing the series has ever seen, and Unleash has a captivating narrative that's far more subtle than the previous titles. See a pattern here? 3 of these games had something to prove. Adventure 1 and 2 needed to not only sell the Sega Dreamcast, but introduce Sonic into the third dimension while evolving the formula of high-speed platforming by adding an in-depth story no other platformers really had at the time. Unleash, however, needed to reinvent the wheel after the failure of 06. It was either they saved the franchise, or, by golly, Sonic dies. And against all odds, they did it. As anyone who's played Sonic Unleashed, you can see all over it that that game reeks of passion and ambition. As for Black Knight, however, it didn't have that much to prove, but the good writing mainly comes down to, and I'm sorry if I pronounce this name wrong, but Shiro Makawa. But everything Colors onward is agreed upon to have, let's be honest here, the worst writing the series has ever seen in the mainline games. So what is it about these games? Why is it that Adventure 1, 2, Black Knight, Unleashed have delivered some of the most iconic moments and characters in the franchise? Why is it that they've delivered some of the most intriguing stories the series has told to this day? Because the writers not only cared, but understood the characters. Once again, I'm sorry about pronouncing this name wrong, but Kyoko Yashimura and the aforementioned Shiro Makawa, the writers of both Sonic Unleashed and Adventure 2 and Black Knight, respectively, these aren't just cartoony faces of a brand like they're written in current games. Heck, most of the time, they aren't even written with a personality. They just say generic, useless lines, and that goes for almost all of the side characters. Each Sonic character has a distinct personality and experiences growth, whether it's Tails finding independence, Shadow's redemption, or even Sonic's flat development, where he never changes his ideals, but instead matures into an open-hearted, attitude-filled speedster. Kyoko and Shiro recognize these are characters, and didn't just want to write dialogue, but to write a story with these great characters. This lack of ambitious storytelling in his recent games, filled with terribly written character arcs with no understanding of the characters even at their most basic level, has led to what can only be described as trashing on the development these characters have gone through, reducing them to merely misunderstood caricatures of their former selves. This series needs character-focused writing with stakes, development, and shows the best of these characters, both individually and how fantastic they are when paired together. There's a reason people love Team Dark so much, and Team Sonic as well, because of the unique and interesting personalities each individual member has, but also how well they work as a group. The next Sonic game we need, the one to take all this advice and whether rehire the writers of old or perhaps get Ian Flynn, the fantastic writer of the Sonic comics, to write for the games for a change. But either option of writers will do. How could a reboot fix this? Well, it's quite simple actually. Start from Adventure. The next thing that this franchise needs is honestly more important than the story itself. Personally, and I don't think this is even a bold claim now that we have games like Sonic Forces as an example, but I believe that for the series to thrive, the boost needs to be retired. I say this because the perfect gateway into this franchise, the perfect way to inject the Sonic cast with their personalities again, to give this series back its life, is to remake Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. This is far from an original idea, but this is how they could kill the boost in future games. And here's why I personally think it wouldn't do any harm, but only do good to go back to the adventure style of gameplay. Take a look at the first 5 seconds of Green Hill from Sonic Generations, shall we? Now take a look at the first 5 seconds of Emerald Coast. Ooh, goodies. Well, wasn't expecting that there. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Do you see the difference? The obvious is, of course, how much ground Sonic can cover, but we'll get more into that in just a second. But what I'm trying to pinpoint here is that, in a way, you could see just how restrictive the boost is. It demands that you go in a straight line at an absolutely jaw-dropping speed, yes, but with Adventure, it was like my own adventure. It was my choice, my freedom. Did I want to turn around and see if there was anything behind me? Sure, I did, and I got rewarded for it. I went forward. There was a Badnets to bounce on. I got this animal. Maybe I can use that somewhere. Of course, that's the Chow Garden, but see, it was my own choices and my own freedoms in the control style that I could basically do exactly what the game is titled, go on my own adventure with Sonic. This is personally why I find the adventure formula to be so perfect for Sonic, because not only is it fast, but it offers lots of freedom in terms of level design and gameplay variety, as we'll get to in just a moment. This is the problem with the boost. It's unrealistically large levels. Now, I'm not a game designer, but considering how much game devs slave over open worlds and indie devs slave over just small levels, imagine being on this team and you have to make what? Let's be honest here. Essentially, 9 semi-open worlds in terms of visual scope. Also, Sonic can run through it in a very long straight line. A very fun, branching out straight line. I in no means am trying to diss a Generations level design specifically. I think that is peak boost formula, and if replicated, would be absolutely phenomenal in a future game. But what Sonic Team did with the boost formula, in my eyes, is nothing short of a technical marvel of the hard work and determination they have, especially on a 360 and PS3. But the point I'm trying to make, I'm trying to bring light to the obvious problem here. Levels cost a lot, and the game is short. The Hedgehog in Unleashed, it's padding. Classic Sonic and Sonic Generations, charming, but still padding. Literally everything in Forces, padding. This is the problem with the boost formula. It was a novel concept that unfortunately has run its course. But back to the adventure style of gameplay. This is where it's at, and let me give you the rundown why. Sonic in the adventure titles was excellent. His movements had weight and flow, and the level design took great advantage of this. His jump felt just right for large-scale level design of fun, varied locations, and the homing attack wasn't just a wet fart that shot you forward an extra few feet, but instead it was a great way to earn speed and, say it with me now, momentum. But in all seriousness, the adventure formula allows for large open level design that takes advantage of Sonic's raw momentum-based speed and platforming. Truly, the classics brought into the third dimension. But how does this help? Easy. The amount of levels you can produce with the adventure formula is far greater. And let's say I'm right, and somehow they do what I'm saying they should do in this video and remake adventure just like this, and it's a huge success. Well, games can simply be longer. I am no game designer. I'm just simply not. I'm in no way trying to say that the boost gameplay and the adventure gameplay are even comparable in terms of level design. They are so vastly different that, well, the challenge of making one type of level is just simply different than the challenge of making another type of level. But what I am saying is that to make a level in Sonic Generations, look at the amount of resources they needed. Look at the amount of money that they had to spend on just one of those to have that entire level built and constructed and functional. But with a Sonic that goes slower, a Sonic that still gives you a great sense of speed, but gives the player more freedom and control over their actions and movement, you can build levels far smaller, but even more expansive. What I mean by this is that even with a smaller level, you can have so many more alternate paths, you can give the player so many more options to get creative and skillful with their platforming. You can bring back multiple characters like Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow, and even add new mechanics. What if after the adventure remakes, which would also serve as a soft reboot I'm proposing, in my own perfect world, they make the next game that keeps the entire franchise continuity but uses the new game to connect the dots and truly make a Sonic the Hedgehog world? Give Sonic back maybe parkour, but with adventure level design and control. Maybe give Shadow back his chaos powers. Lastly, the shortest topic I have to speak on is a stylistic change. Personally, I think the designs we have now are fine, but compared to what they could look like, especially in comparison to the gorgeous artwork by the Yuji Ukawa, and I can't pronounce his name to save my life, but I can pick his artwork anytime I see it. It is the perfect style for the series to take on going forward. So, here we are. In summary, the Sonic franchise needs a breath of fresh air. Not in the form of a hard reboot, but instead a soft one. One where the writing can once more use the characters to tell awesome stories and build a wildly wacky world for Sonic to have fun in. Clarify his world, clarify where the humans and animals are located. Heck, let's just say Sonic has a really big world and put it all in there. Just tell us that, because honestly, that's all we really need. Change the gameplay back to adventure so we can relish in all the amazing ways the developers can have crazy fun levels and crazy fun controls for not only Sonic, but also maybe even multiple playable characters, and increase production values in terms of visuals and animation and stylistic character models. And that, my viewers, is how I would kind of reboot Sonic. Hi everybody, this is a completely unscripted part. I just wanted to thank you all for sticking through the video for so long. I'm a huge Sonic fan. I love basically all the 3D games. I very much so wanted to get this out there because of all the rumors and news of adventure remakes and brand new games coming out. I just wanted to get this out here, see if anybody agreed, disagreed, thinks the boost should stay, thinks it should leave. Just wanted to share my opinion and see if anyone else agreed or disagreed, because I do think that there is merit in a lot of different ways to take Sonic, but personally, out of what I want this is how I would do it. And if you agreed, let me know in the comments, maybe like it. I have a couple more video essays on Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow up. I'm working on a silver one. I'm working on another video essay on Superman, because I'm not just a Sonic channel. Crazy, I know, based on my uploads, but it's true. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night, everybody.